What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. I enjoy you guys being a part of this journey. Let me give you guys a round of applause. And the reason why I want to give you guys a round of applause is not only because I enjoy you being along for the journey, is because we have another opportunity to do great things. All right. So what up? What up? What up? What up? What up to all of my friends and family? Thank you to everybody that tuned in to After Hours last night. It was a fun show. Man, After Hours is like a family show. Um, and I'm not saying a family show like Cosby Family. It's like a family show of the things that you would say in your living room with your friends and family. And it's just authentic. You can't make that stuff up. You can't put that together. That's something that just organically has to come together. So I appreciate my After Hours family and Slimmy, Carrie, Mika, Quentin. I also appreciate Q. I appreciate everybody that's rocking out. All right. So what up? What up? What up to all of my friends and family? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking out. We have a full show for y'all today. So tune in, lock in. Your price of admission is a like for the algorithm. If this is your first time here, hit a like, and I hope you enjoy the show and you come back and you send this to your family and friends. If this is your second time or more here, then you already should be subscribed and we shouldn't even be having this conversation. All right. So make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. Also, shout out to everybody that are bag chasers and Patreon members. You guys are absolutely awesome. I want to give some early shout outs real quick before we get started to the show, to the Cash Appers. I want to give a shout out to Mike, that dude, ESDC, and the man, the king says tuition learned lessons. Thank y'all to everybody that support me on the platforms and on Cash App. I appreciate y'all. I do like to acknowledge the people I never asked for it, but I always want to make sure that I add value into y'all life, and hopefully, I add value as a part of this show and what we do, and then you guys add value into my life also as a result of just being here. All right. So yeah, man, lock in for the next 2 hours. We're gonna go over it. So we got a full show. The first thing that we want to go over is quick hits, obviously. So that is not a section that we want to have individually on its own. But we want to give y'all an update on what's happening across America. We're gonna go into Kamala Harris's uh live stream. We want to go into the tariff talks. We want to go into the big donors and what they're saying about Kamala Harris and whether or not they want to continue to support her for 2028 and how they stole y'all money. All right. We want to go into Walmart. Walmart and other places are saying that they're no longer supporting DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they are now removing all affirmative action and DEI programs from them and how that's going to turn out. And then last but not least, I also want to talk about mass deportation. All right. Tom Homan, who is the recent border czar, is standing alongside the governor of Texas. And he's saying that if these people don't get in line, they're willing to arrest the mayors and the people that's preventing them from doing the mass deportation. So we got a whole show for y'all today. But more importantly, I need y'all to understand that what we do on the Millionaire Morning Show is hopefully add value into your life, entertain you while at the same time putting the medicine aside of the candy. And more importantly, we want y'all to understand that everything comes back down to the money. So when you see this political talk, when you see what's happening in diversity, equity, and inclusion, when you see what's happening with the wars and the ceasefires and things like that, somehow, some way, somebody is getting paid from it. All right. So shout out to all of y'all in the chat. Shout out to my friends and family. I appreciate y'all being here. All right. Y'all ready to get back into the show? Y'all ready to get started? All right. Make sure you get your tickets to come and see me December 14th in Detroit. Discount code is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. In addition to that, I would love for you guys to tap into the Bag Chasers and the Patreon. I think we have is Thanksgiving tomorrow? When is Thanksgiving? Let me look at my calendar real quick before we get started with the show. Thanksgiving is tomorrow on the 28th. Okay, so some people are asking me and they are saying, Anton, are you going to do a Thanksgiving show? You know we don't miss. You know we don't miss. So yes, we will be doing a regular show in the morning because the Millionaire Morning Show goes on whether it's New Year's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Martin Luther King Day, 4th of July, your mama's birthday, your daddy's birthday, unless it's some kind of major life event, we don't miss. So yes, even though you're gonna be sitting, getting it ready, making your mac and cheese, put me up on the TV, make sure Gam Gam can get this work. And we are going to be live streaming on the Millionaire Morning Show, same time. Nothing changes. Everything is gonna be regular. This is what we do. All right. So if you are wondering if we are going to be looking at the Millionaire Morning Show and live streaming, let me just emphasize it one more time for the people in the back. Yes, we are live streaming tomorrow. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and get it started with the show. So, first things first, you know how we do it, quick hits. So, quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we have to dedicate an entire segment to, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's happening in these streets. All right. Let me make sure I get my iPad out because I want to take notes, and I always got to take notes and make sure that I don't miss anything because sometimes you know, certain things be happening and I don't want to miss nothing. I want to give my whole thought. All right. So, quick hit segment of the show that we don't want to dedicate an entire segment to, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's happening in these streets. So, in Chicago, we know that there's been budget problems and things like that. And, you know, they've been complaining about the idea that the budget is $300 million over budget, the proposed budget, even though they're facing a $942 million deficit next year. And so aldermen and residents are asking for the city council and the mayor to basically go back to pre-pandemic level spending. Check it out.
Now to how your tax dollars should be spent in Chicago. Two distinct paths have formed to get Chicago to balanced budgets next year. The mayor's plan to raise property taxes, avoiding service cutoffs and layoffs.
Well, 24 aldermen's plan is no new taxes and instead deep cuts to city spending, which includes layoffs. Political reporter Chris Ty has new details on exactly what they want to do.
The mayor wanted this job, and he got it, and he needs to do it. We're doing our job.
And the job these members of council say they are doing is listening to Chicago voters. They put a poll in the field, in fact, and they found that when voters learned that over $5 billion has been added to the city budget since the year 2020, they want the spending to stop. Their recommendation is to move almost all city departments back to their budget allocation from the year 2020, but to add an inflation adjustment. If they did just that, they claim they'd save the city over $500 million this year.
They want cuts, not new taxes. And so what we're saying is that we need to right-size the budget to pre-pandemic levels and with adjusted inflation.
One big exception in all this, police and fire. Their budgets haven't kept up with inflation and would go up with the plan. Is this approach feasible, though?
It's really broad brush.
Joe Ferguson leads the nonpartisan Civic Federation.
Whether it's feasible is unclear. because you have to get into the weeds from department to department. But I will say, as a framing reference, it's a perfectly legitimate thing to do.
The Alders poll revealed something else. Chicagoans will vote out council members that back tax hikes, not just the $300 million plan the mayor rolled out.
This matter has been voted down
And lost 50-0, but any tax hikes, including Johnson's revised $150 million option. The two sides haven't spoken much since council's plan was revealed, but a city shutdown looms if a deal isn't struck by year's end.
The number of times I am asked what happens if we do not pass a budget by December 31st is rising rapidly.
We don't want a city shutdown, but the mayor is making us choose between a property tax increase or a city shutdown.
Again, I think that this is the worst mayor of all time, possibly the worst mayor in the United States of America, of any major city in the United States of America. Obviously, they should have never gotten to the point to where they ballooned the budget up past what it was in pre-pandemic levels. And I think that this is a reasonable ask. I don't believe that there's any problem with saying, hey, we need to go back to how we were doing things, even though that wasn't necessarily working. But we need to get a starting point where we get back to pre-pandemic levels. You can't have a budget that's 70, 80, and 90% more than what it was 4 years ago prior to you getting into office. And so, yes, they need to have spending back to pre-pandemic levels, which means that you need to right size the office. You need to get the right people in place. You need to stop creating jobs based off of taxpayers, no new taxes. And I'm not really understanding where that's a problem. So they also need to cut out hundreds of millions of dollars that they're spending on this migrant crisis, being a sanctuary city. And that's the first thing that I would cut out. The first thing that I would cut out of the budget is to say, hey, we don't want to do any migrant crisis spending anymore. No more staff and company, no more any of that. But I'm sure that that's too difficult to do because there's people that have a vested interest in making sure that these contracts continue to go on. So I want to see where the Swiss accounts are. That's all I want to say. I want to see where the Swiss bank accounts are. In addition to that, Lebanese residents are heading home after a ceasefire that was brokered between the United States and France. Check it out.
A ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah came into effect early Wednesday morning. U.S. President Joe Biden announced one day prior that both sides had accepted an agreement brokered by the United States and France.
Read that super chat
this
shortly,
is designed to be
you.
a permanent cessation of hostilities.
Bursts of gunfire could be heard across Beirut after the ceasefire took effect. It was not immediately clear if the shooting was celebratory. Gunfire has also been used during the conflict to alert Lebanese who may have missed evacuation warnings issued by Israel's military. Celebrations erupted in Beirut Wednesday morning as people returned to the capital, with some waving Hezbollah flags. Reuters footage also showed people from southern Lebanon returning home after being displaced by Israeli strikes in recent months. Biden said that Israel will gradually withdraw its forces over 60 days as Lebanon's army takes control of territory near its border with Israel. Their presence is meant to ensure that Hezbollah does not rebuild its infrastructure there. Lebanon's foreign minister said the country's army would deploy at least 5,000 troops in southern Lebanon as Israeli troops pull out. The army on Wednesday asked that residents of border villages delay their return until the Israeli military withdraws. Hezbollah has...
Hey, hold on. Don't throw no rice on my car, though. I mean, I know you're happy that you can go back home, but don't throw nothing on my car.
Not yet formally commented on the ceasefire, but Iran, which backs Hezbollah, said it welcomed the deal. Netanyahu said he was ready to implement a ceasefire, but would respond forcefully to any violation by Hezbollah.
Should Hezbollah violate the agreement or attempt to rearm, we will strike decisively.
He said the ceasefire would allow Israel to focus on the threat from Iran, replenish depleted arms, and give the army a rest. He also said the ceasefire would allow...
That looked crazy. Can you imagine living in a space? That's why we're so blessed to be in the United States of America. That is insane.
Allow for the isolation...
You see it before you hear it. You see it before you hear it.
...of Hamas, which Israel is battling in devastated Gaza. Although Biden leaves office in January, he said his administration would continue to push for an elusive ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. as well as for a deal to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
So, ceasefire is now in effect, allegedly. We know that most of the time that don't last that long, but hopefully it stays in place because of preservation of human life. And more importantly, stopping the funding of wars over there in Israel it should be, United States primary objective number one. But we still got what's going on over in Russia, and apparently we're gonna have to figure out how to stop that when Trump gets into office. But last but not least, uh, Wendy Williams. So Wendy Williams has now, according to her primary caregivers, been permanently incapacitated from dementia. Jesus Christ. Check it out.
Heartbreaking news today about former talk show host Wendy Williams. New court documents filed by her legal guardian say she is now permanently incapacitated by her ongoing health battles.
Heartbreaking news. Wendy Williams is being described as permanently incapacitated due to her battle with dementia and aphasia. Her guardian, attorney Sabrina Morrissey, made the disturbing revelation in court filings. Wendy was last seen in public at a holistic store back in August, taking a photo with a fan in New Jersey. The former talk show host was also the subject of a Lifetime documentary that was criticized for showing Wendy at her lowest, looking out of it, and perhaps not fully aware of what was going on.
We all make choices in life. We all go through our challenges.
Wendy Williams was diagnosed with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia in May of last year.
That's why I live every single day. Every single day, I leave it on the flow because, and I'm not saying that anybody is ever going to get into any health crisis. However, you get older and you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so that's why I buy everything I want to buy, do everything I want to do, and make sure that I leave it on the flow. But it is unfortunate, man. Again, I'm not the type of person, and maybe I'm just getting soft or maybe I'm just getting older, but I'm not the type of person to go back into a person's past and to say this or that, or, try to, when a life event happens like this, it's just devastating. It's absolutely devastating. I'm sure it's devastating to the people that got to care give for and take care of her. And the only thing that we can do is celebrate what she's been able to accomplish in a positive way and the trailblazing that she's done. But it's absolutely messed up. And to see that somebody is completely incapacitated who just a few years ago was doing her show, life is precious, life is fragile, and to have to live through it and suffer through it is even worse. But prayers up for her and her family, for Wendy Williams. I hope that everything goes well and that things get better. But man, I don't even like to put myself in that type of hypothetical situation. But prayers up for her and her family. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me read some of these super chats, and then we're gonna go on with the show. Darshan Hill says, "Good morning, AD. They made all these fake positions for their family and friends, and it's time for them to go. He would rather tax the citizens that adjust the budget than to fix the problem." The problem with budgets a lot of times is that people adjust. It's just like regular life, right? So when you see these government budgets or even when you see corporate budgets and stuff like that, you're incentivized to spend, and then we adjust the way that we do things based off of whatever it is that we used to. And so think about it like this in regular life. When you get a raise on your job, right? Or you grow in whatever capacity that you grow in financially or your business, or you start booming, most people, 95, 96% of people adjust their lifestyle up to their income. And so when they then say, well, once you reach a certain threshold, your lifestyle don't really change much as far as how you feel about your income. What's really happening is that you've then adjusted what you're used to that income. But the difference between what you make and then what you can put up and how you can then generate wealth or save and stuff like that, that don't change because you just get a bigger house, you get a bigger car, you add more expenses, you get better lifestyle, you get more subscriptions or whatever it is that you want to do. And so what happens is you don't feel any different. You've just adjusted your cultural norms and what you've normalized as regular into what your budget is. And so at some point you have to cut off the spigot and then start to focus on how you can then, like, you meet a certain threshold and then you focus on how you can preserve more wealth. But instead, we continue to just increase our lifestyle. So now instead of you getting a car and paying off your car, you got to buy a new car to celebrate the fact that you got a new job, but you really can't afford the new car because you're not taking into consideration the true cost of what that is, right? And it's the same thing that happens with those government budgets. They increase the budget. They don't do a reassessment every year to figure out whether or not they're going to need more people or they need to pare back or what this person is really adding value in. And every single year, you're supposed to be doing an audit of yourself. Every month, I go through and I look at all of my business expenses. I look at everybody that I have on the payroll. I look at all of my costs. And as a matter of fact, prior to the year, because what I've been doing and what I do every single year leading up to 2025 is I've been putting together what I anticipate. And this is what any great corporate leader does. And this is what corporate America does. This is what they do on the calls, on the quarterly calls to show you exactly how profitable the company is or whether or not they're going to need to do another raise or a round or buybacks, whatever. What they do is they go through and they tell you, okay, listen, this is what we anticipated on making next year. We're anticipating taking this upcharge. We got to take this charge, but we're going to invest in this and spending, and we're going to roll out these products. And based off of our historical references of what we've done this year, last year, and where we're projecting ourselves to be, this is what we're anticipating making next year. So we're going to make this so many millions or this so many billions. And so this is what we can plan for. That's how you do your planning in your personal life. I take my personal life and my business life so serious to where prior to we even hit it running in 2025, that's why I'm getting my studio redone right now because I looked at my fiscal budget. We beat expectations than what we anticipated in the beginning of the year. And so now I have to make some capital spends because if I don't spend it, either the government takes it and I can't create a better product. So we say, okay, well, where can we improve? Who do we need to hire? How can we then plan for next year? Are we looking to grow next year? And if we are growing, what percentage are we going to go? Right. And so when we start to think about that, I say, okay, well, in order for us to grow, we have to make these capital investments and this and this and this and so on and so forth. This is how we anticipate being profitable. This is how much we plan on increasing revenue. These are the new revenue streams that we plan on coming in. These are the type of sales that we think that we're going to do as far as getting new sponsorships in corporate. This is what we plan on making it. And we do that inside of every single business. We do that with regard to real estate. We do that with regard to content creation. We do it with regard to our web development company. And so we take that same approach to everything. If you don't take that same budgeting experience and see a lot of times where we go wrong is we spend the majority of our time focusing on what we got coming in instead of taking our time to figure out what it is that we're projecting that we're going to earn. I'm not going to get into this because this is too deep, right? So I got way more that we're going to go over. And it's funny because I anticipated having this conversation with the bag chasers on a live stream after Block Club. So we got Block Club this weekend. And then after that, I'm going to go over how you guys need to revise your budget, not for what you take in. And this is why I'm saying that I want everybody to have a goal to make $300,000 a year because your capital spend has to be based off of what you anticipate and not based off of what you earn. You have to dress for the job that you want and not for the job that you have. You have to budget for the job that you have, but you have to anticipate growth based off of the job that you want. So, give me a second. So this is an upcoming Patreon conversation that we got to have. And I'm going to break down to you guys exactly how I do my budgets and why it closely aligns with the same way that they do it from a corporate perspective. And so we have to elevate the way that we think and elevate the way that we use our tools that we have in front of us to ultimately grow and become really, really great. Because if you're not anticipating, again, look. This is really what it comes down to. You have to have a business mindset. And a business mindset is not a theory. It's something that we actually use every day. When I went into corporate America, I took every single thing that I could learn. I studied every single division as a user experience expert. And so I learned how they do things. I learned exactly how HR operates. I learned exactly how they do their budgets. I learned exactly what software that they use. I learned how they did their Kanban boards. I learned every single thing that I could so that I can bring the information back, implement it into my own companies, and then give the information over to you guys. And so that's why it's important for you to then get into the bag chasers and the Patreon, because we not talking about surface level stuff in there. We talking about a lifestyle change and a mentality change, and then giving you guys the tools for you to do it yourself. We're not going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Okay? So it's the greatest group ever. It's the greatest group ever. There is no Patreon that's bigger than mine. There is no group of people that's best for you than this. And you need to tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. All right. So we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Let me read a few more super chats and then we're gonna get out. Shout out to you, Darshan. That's a great super chat that got me on my little rant. Trini, and that's just a little bit of an example of what we got coming up. Trini Life says, nothing much to say, but blessings and protections to you, your wife, Les. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Trini Life. And Chatford Moore says, good morning, AD. I just sent an email of a government guy that you could possibly interview about what government employees are talking about. Armand Curet. All right, I'm going to check out that email. Thank you guys for continuing to hold me down. Thank you for all of the super chats and the cash apps. I love y'all, but we got to get into the show. All right, so first things first, now that we done with quick hits, is Kamala Harris. So Kamala Harris recently appeared while on vacation in Hawaii. All right. I don't know how you justify taking a vacation when you only got 60, 57, 56 days to be able to get out of office. Biden is over there hitting the button. They over here having dinners inside of the White House trying to persuade donors not to completely leave the party and just switch over to being Republican donors. And everything is on fire in the Democratic Party. They got a civil war. Kamala Harris says, you know what? I'm going to go on a long vacation because that's what women do. I'm going to go on a long vacation because that's what women do. Now, interestingly enough, you're seeing this cover photo, right? Are you guys looking at this cover photo that I'm looking at right now? This is the cover photo and YouTube video and video that they put out on every single platform. X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. This is the cover photo that this is straight from Kamala Harris's YouTube channel. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. That photo right there of her glazing with her teeth out is the cover photo that she used for her YouTube video to talk to supporters and donors to thank them for the 107 days that she was running her campaign and how she spent $1.5 billion. I'm telling you, either she trolling or she out of her mind. Either she trolling or she's out of her mind. Who would pick that as a cover photo, basically being zooted and booted, looking like you just took a Xanny as your cover photo? I cannot make this up. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if this woman had actually won the president of the United States of America? All right, y'all, we got to get into it. We're going to skip Tim Boring Walls. We don't really want to see America's dad that they tried to make it out to be. We don't want him. We don't want him. We're going to skip straight over Tim Walls. Nobody cares about Tim. All right? We're going to get straight to Kamala Harris. Yo, they said, listen. You can't make this up. Listen, y'all.
And continues to do so. And I would just ask all of you to join me in welcoming our Vice President, Kamala Harris.
Oh my God. I cannot, bro. I can't. Before I even get into her speech, look at this. Look at this. Chris, Nah, man, you're right. You're right. All right, I concede. I concede. I don't think that she's going to run for president in 2028. I do think that she's going to run for governor of California because I don't think she can sit still. I don't think that she's looking to just sit still and just be quiet. I believe she's going to run for governor of California in 2026, but ain't no way in the world that you're going to convince me that this woman is going to run for president of the United States of America in 2028. Get the heck out of here. We got to get to the speech, yo. We got to get to the speech.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Back at you, brother. You are such an extraordinary.
Oh, back at you, brother.
Extraordinary leader, and we have become lifelong friends. I just, in front of everyone, I want to thank you, Tim. You lead with courage. You lead with heart. You see the people. You care about the people. You believe in uplifting the dignity to which all people are entitled.
And she reading too.
And you do it and you have a sense of fun when you're doing it.
California,
but you are an extraordinary leader, and obviously the people of Minnesota are very, very lucky to have you there. But you are a national leader and a dear friend, and thank you. Noel, thank you for your work in Pennsylvania and all that you did for our campaign.
Oh, it's so funny.
And let me just say to everyone on this call, I am so grateful for you, and I'm so thankful to you. I'm thankful for your love of our country and your willingness to put the work into it. I'm thankful for the faith that you put in me and Governor Walz and our team. And I am thankful because I know your character is such that you're not going to get knocked down. And you're in this fight. And you're in it for all the right reasons. And I know that about you. It's why you're part of this call right now and all the work that you did over those 107 days and even before. That's your nature. And the outcome of this election obviously is not what we wanted. It is not what we worked so hard for. But I am proud of the race we ran. And your role in this was critical. What we did in 107 days was unprecedented. Think about the coalition that we built, and we were so intentional about that. You would hear me talk about it all the time. Being a daughter of parents who are active in the civil rights movement, I know and believe that the best movements that are about progress in our country mean that it's leaders that we are dedicated to the coalition, to bringing people together that seemingly have nothing in common, but have everything in common. A coalition where we bring people together based on a deep love of our country and our understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of our willingness.
Let me play that again.
Understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of our.
You know what that is? That's that white girl wasted. It is. That's white girl wasted. I don't know if y'all ever seen what white girl wasted look like, but that white girl wasted is when they do that. That's how they know you drunk. When they pull you over and the officers pull you over and they pull the little white girls over. I'm sorry, no, I haven't having anything to drunk today. Oh God. And they actually left this up. They looked at this and they said, hey guys, you know what? This was a pretty good live stream. Let's go ahead and let this fly and leave it out to the public. And it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Bring people together based on a deep love of our country and our understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of.
Let me see if I can get that
and
as a
our
screenshot.
understanding that the strength of our country will be a
Oh man, dog, that's a rough day. Kamala Harris has probably had one of the roughest months ever. November is just not her month. I ain't tripping though. You know, I had listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. November has been kind of rough for me too. You know, it's the holidays, every time around the holidays, sometimes it's not always the greatest of times, but this is where you got to endure. This is where you got to get through it. This is where you got to assure the donors and the people that you with them, you there.
function of our willingness to put in the work, and that we will do that work with a sense of joy, yes.
Holding on to
with a sense of work ethic and understanding it's going to be hard, but it's good work. It's good work.
Yes, it is.
To be engaged in a collective fight for America's future. And it means so much to me and to Governor Walz that you knocked on doors, you called friends, you called in favors. You said, hey, you know, I showed up at your softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office. you put softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office.
You know, when you put this in a context, because this is almost sad. And it's not sad for her because Kamala Harris is going to go along and she's going to get her Jack Daniels and she's going to do what she do. All right. The thing about drunks is that drunks don't necessarily, and I'm not saying that she's drunk, it just looks like she's drunk. But the thing I know about drunk people is that they don't upgrade their liquor. Even if they make more money, they go back to the thing that they love. They go back to the thing that they got hooked on in the first place. And so I think that we need to get her an AA program before we get anything popping. But more importantly, the sad part isn't what she looks like and what's happening to her right now. The sad part is the fact that you, because I know it's some of y'all that's in here right now, you campaigned for, you was on TikTok and Instagram going off, I hate black men, why ain't y'all following us to the polls? And then black men followed y'all to the polls at an unprecedented rate at an almost 80% clip. Then 91% of y'all actually voted for. And do you know that this woman right here, let me show you the woman that y'all campaigned for.
Showed up at your softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office.
Y'all went y'all went out and you canvassed and you knocked on doors and you fought and you gave messages about reproductive freedom and you said that we're better together than we are apart and you fought for immigration into this country illegally and to give away all your rights and to have people going to the polls without no voter ID. And you argued, you broke up with your family members over this woman, over this cackling hen. You broke up with your family members over her. You know how bad I'd feel as a content creator if I was out here with a PPP loan, for example, and then I was like, hey man, listen, y'all get it too. You just need to work hard. But I had a PPP loan. If I didn't put in the work every single day to authentically be a servant leader, you know how bad I would feel for my people? You know how demonic you have to be to let people go out on a whim and defend you and go out and knock on doors and say, we need to galvanize behind Kamala Harris. And this is what you got to galvanize behind? She's over in Hawaii doing God knows what, drinking God knows what, and you guys are galvanizing behind this woman. Do you know how stupid you have to be? You know how bad you have to feel? I would feel like a POS. I would go to bed and just take the whole holidays off. I would take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. I would use all my PTO time if I got behind this cackling hen, then this was the thank you message that I got afterwards. We are amused by your ignorance. We are amused that you actually went toe to toe with us. You argued us down. You got on the panel with me on Monday nights and you said, you know what, Anton, I don't stand for what you stand for. And you did your little reaction videos and said, look at this black man standing with the white men. This is what you advocated for. Look at it.
Showed up at your softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office.
This is what you wanted as president of the United States. This is the person that you wanted to stand face to face with Vladimir Putin. That's what you wanted. You wanted that to stand face to face with the toughest, meanest world leaders on the face of this earth. Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, Netanyahu. Y'all wanted this woman to stand face to face with some of the fiercest leaders in the world? Jesus Christ.
You put in the time. It was personal for you. And you gave all that you could to support our campaign. Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion from grassroots supporters alone.
Jesus Christ.
The most in presidential campaign history.
Record-breaking.
Nearly 8 million donors contributed an average donation of about $56 to fuel our people-powered campaign. And understand that the work that we did included the work that so many of you here did, which is to talk to first-time voters. Many of you are first-time voters. And to talk about how being involved can make a difference. And that remains true. And that's one of the pieces that I just want us to please take away, that our fight for freedom and for opportunity and for the promise of America, it included, for example, nearly almost 4 million first-time contributors to our campaign.
Now I know how Umar Johnson continued to get y'all. You know why? Because a new dummy is born every single day. If the old person decides to get wise and switch over to a different party or make some adjustments to the way that they do things, guess what? You got a new one. You got a new person turns 18 every single day. A new fool decide that they want to vote for the Democratic Party every single day. A new donor, record-breaking, $1.5 billion raised. Record-breaking, 4 million new contributors. You went to the Kamala Harris site and you said, you know what? I want to donate today so that Roland Martin and Al Sharpton can get his $500,000 and Roland Martin can get his $350,000. And then everybody can get richer. All of these people that's getting richer every single day. And this is what you did it for. Go ahead, take it in. Let me play the rest of it for you.
Because of the work you did of helping people know that they can be engaged and that they're not outside, that they're inside, that we're all in this together. And that work continues. The work must continue.
We got to get that 20 million paid off.
Reminding ourselves that we have an ability to stay engaged in a way that will make a difference. The work that you all did,
her words still.
It's going to have lasting effect. Again, I'll say, the election didn't turn out like we wanted it to. Certainly not as we planned for it to. But understand that the work we put into it was about empowering people. That's the spirit with the work we did. Our spirit and our work was about saying that it is a strength that we each have to lift people up as opposed to beating people down. It is a strength we have that has lasting effect. So all that work that you did that was about engaging with other people, engaging with perfect strangers and in their face seeing a neighbor, that has lasting effect. It reminds people that there are leaders like you who care and will bring us together. And sometimes in the darkest moments, people lose faith in that.
Look at her. Look how she's slurring her words. Listen to her.
And sometimes in the darkest moments, people lose faith in that.
Look at her eyes. listen, communication is more than just what you say out of your mouth and how you say it. It's also everything else that goes along with it. It's your body language. Listen to her. Look at her eyes. Look how she's slurring.
That there are leaders like you who care and will bring us together. And you know, sometimes in the
right after she said, and you know, it's the worst. It's getting to her.
Care and will bring us together. And you know, sometimes in the darkest moments, people lose faith in that.
I ain't even gonna lie. I think that Kamala Harris is a great party host. I bet you she get the party turned up. Squabble up. Squabble up. I bet you Kamala Harris is probably one of the if she invited me to a party, not a Diddy party, but if she invited me to a party, I would be go ahead. Let me get my dancing shoes on. Let me get my dancing. Nobody gonna be holding up the wall. Nobody gonna be holding up the wall. Cause she probably turn up the party. If she invites you to Hawaii, just don't vote for her. But if she invites you to Hawaii, it's gonna be a good time.
Are there people out there that feel that way? And you reminded people that yes, there are. And there are a lot of us. And that strength cannot be taken from us. That is our strength. It cannot be taken from us. So listen, as I said the day after the election, I still strongly believe the light of America's promise will burn bright as long as we never give up.
How many of y'all think that she went to sleep like that and put on a different outfit and didn't even comb her hair?
Keep fighting. And the fight that fueled our campaign, a fight for freedom and opportunity, that did not end on November 5th. A fight for the dignity of all people, that did not end on November 5th. A fight for the future, a future in which all people receive the promise of America.
I talk like this in my dreams. You know, I think I'm doing. Have y'all ever had one of them dreams where it's like you running, but you can't go fast? Or you talking, but you can't talk the way that you want to talk. You can't communicate. I do this in my dreams. Oof.
No. A fight that is about a fight for the ideals of our nation.
Y'all don't think she got on no bottoms?
The ideals that reflect the promise of America. That fight's not over. So look, we still have a lot to fight for. Okay? A future where every American can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the right to make decisions about their own body, not their government telling them what to do. Our fight for the rule of law, for freedom for all, for equal justice, for the sacred principle that everyone, no matter where they start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be upheld.
This woman is blackout.
That's not over. That fight's still in us, and it burns strong.
Hangover drunk.
And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that.
Listen, look at her. Watch this.
And I know this is an uncertain time.
That long blink when you hit him with this.
Strong. And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. Look, this mission that we have, it takes hard work. But as you've heard me say many times, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And in doing our work, we will remain committed and intentional about building community, building coalitions, reminding people that we all have so much more in common than what separates us.
I'm playing this.
We will be armed with the faith and the fuel that tells us what is possible and then drives us to achieve it. So let's continue to organize and mobilize and stay engaged. And I thank you all. I thank you all. We are all in this together. All right? We are all in this together. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this.
What is going on right now? Why did they put this out? Why didn't they let her put her in the sobering tank for like 3 days before they told her, hey, listen, we're gonna get your makeup together, we're gonna do your hair? What the heck is they thinking? Who is her campaign managers? What is happening right now? I didn't even see that part because I cut it off last night when y'all told me about it on After Hours. I did not see that last part. What in the world? Look at these pictures.
Practical eve of Thanksgiving. I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this.
Oh my God. What is wrong with with her people? Man, look, bro, look. For everybody that's my friend, you're not my friend if you let me go out like this. If you let me go out like this, we not friends, bro. If I wake up in the morning and you responsible for making sure that I look good on camera and you let me go out looking like a fool, you getting fired. Me and Rita got into it simply because she let me buy them bad jeans. She let me buy the wrong jeans. She let me buy bootcut jeans, and I was mad. I told y'all about that. Them bootcut jeans and them apple bottom jeans and them boots with the fur. Man, I got up the next day and I put on them jeans and I was like, I looked in the mirror and I turned to the side and I said, why you tell me that these looked okay? I was mad at Rita when she came to the store with me and I went in I never tried things on because I know what I know. I know what my size is. I went into the dressing room and I said, listen, I'm going to try these new jeans on because I want to do something different. I'm thinking I got an idea in my mind. I showed her the jeans. I turned to the side. I turned to the left. I said, what you think? She said, they different, but they could work. You got to get used to them. I bought like 14 pairs of them jeans. The boot cut Levi's. Man, I was so mad when I put them jeans on and then I put on the lighter ones. Yeah. Had me wearing Obama jeans. Because I didn't know that Levi's had made Obama jeans. So I said, okay, well, give me the regular ones. Take this back. Thank God I didn't do no vlogs in it, but take this back. And I was mad. I said, listen, if you're going to be on my team, you're going to have to tell me when things don't look right. You knew my shape wasn't accentuated with no bootcut jeans on. And so I'm looking at her and I'm looking at it the same way. Yes, I did. I had the light blue dad jeans. I did. Yeah, I did. I had light blue dad jeans. It was what it was. It was what it was. So my point is, I can't believe that they let her do this. And they said, you know what? We're gonna just go with it. That's crazy to me. Listen to her.
Happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this moment.
This is insane. She
To
ain't got no good friends.
just remember there is so much to be thankful for. And so I wish for you that you are surrounded by the people you love and who love you. As you know, I encourage you to be around family in whatever way you compose that family.
This is crazy.
But to take a moment and just reflect on all the good you have done and all the good you have yet to do. We are powerful, those of us who love our country, and we got a lot of work to do.
Take this down, Kamala. Take this down. This is crazy that a presidential candidate went on vacation in Hawaii when the world is on fire and you're only going to be in office for another 50 days. And you went on vacation and then you came back drunk? Nah, dog. She ain't got no friends. This is how I know Yeah, I did have Obama jeans on, and that's cool. But that was a time in my life, and then it's over. It was earlier this year, but that was a time in my life, but it's over. That's insane. I can't believe they let her out the house like this. But the show goes on. We got to continue on with the show. A.R. Smitty says, looks like a cry for help. Facts. Trump broker. That's crazy that Trump broke her. KDX 8300 says, I think Kamala is going to make a pivot to being a motivational speaker or self-help guru. Not after that video. She's starting to see spaceships on starting to see spaceships, Bankhead. I roll with gangsters. Fly. Help me, help me, help me. I can't make it on my own. I'm geeked up. Oh, help me. That was a jam on the low. Hold on, do I got that as a part of my Apple Music? I'll get that in a minute. Remind me to make sure that that's on my Apple Music, because when that come on, the whole place erupt. You know what I'm saying? Turtle, Cam go. That song. Help me, help me, help me, help me. I'm geeked up. Oh! Now, to my white listeners, I know y'all heard that song before. Don't act like you don't know. You can dance right along with us, all right? Cam gone when she called and his pal told Tim Walls a brother. Hey, brother. Blessings to you and your family. I took your advice about being more involved in politics on a local level, but do you think a Patreon video is worth an investment to deep dive about? About politics on a local level? No, not necessarily. I don't think so. And I think that depends on how big your city is and all of that. Who thinks you will see Tim? You will never see Tim and Kamala together again after this video, since they no longer have to fake being friends and cool. Blockchain Brian says, "Hey, bruh." As soon as that session was over, Madam VP says, "Somebody pass the fifth." She completely tapped out. I told her to get that 20 million back. They told her to get that 20 million back. Do this stream or go flip burgers. No one even cares about her being a VP. Chris Cunningham says, is she for real right now? She a drunkie? We got a dub, glass bottles, and beer cans clattering on when she's talking. She's either intoxicated or on meds. Rumor has it she may run in 2028. Yeah, I don't know about that no more. Mark the Guardian says, so y'all wanted a wine mom in control of the button. Putin and Xi would have been like barbecue chicken in my Shaq voice if she had one. Facts. I can smell the liquor through the screen. The happy girl then says, it can't be given. You have to earn it. She didn't earn a nomination and the people spoke. We said no. Whew. Black friends wouldn't have let her go out this bad. This how we know she's not black. Obeezy would have put her in the program. Auntie burnt out, ain't she? Yo, AD first super chat. Shout out to the first super chat. I appreciate you. What up, though? All right, so let me correct you on your first super chat. You say, what up, though? DOE, not THO. DOE. Quentin wouldn't like that because Quentin says that he doesn't know when we say certain things. Is what up, though? Just made a bag in the market and looking to join Stock Club and run it up more. I appreciate your words. Shout out to all of my bag chasers and Patreon members. Democrats' new name, Demascam. Oh, we going to get into that in the next segment. I'm in the band, Nate. Young Haiti then says, good morning, AD. Enroll your kid in private school. It is a tax write-off. Thanks. New Ball says, AD, you think drunk Cam give... I'm not even going to go there. I'm not saying it. Ashley, that's a married woman. She's married now. You can't say that about no married woman. I like fried rice. G says she need that Tiege. Make sure y'all get that Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. She like the big homie. You just nod when he talks. Yeah, I feel you, bro. Okay, all right. Obama wrote her speech. I don't know about that. Gaming and reactions. Where is the $1.5 billion? Oh, we gonna talk about that in the very next segment. What did you do with the donations? How the money was spent, Kamala? I'm glad you said that. Turtle says makeup team backstabbing because she visually looks clownish instead of mentally on top. Mentally this time. Next election, we having a drag queen candidate. That's crazy. Mr. Anderson's news network clip says she wants to fire up her base for riots in the streets, man. Aaron L. says they said her handlers were former Biden campaign staff. This might have been Biden setting her up for the okie doke. Well, I can't wait to talk about this next segment. It's going to be my favorite part of the show. Casual Germ, y'all need to get y'all friends and family to watch this next part of the show. Casual Germ says I was waiting for her to start the hiccup. She did it a few times. Cam Malt Liquor, because I say I'm black. ABJ's Wise, Smooth, and Strong says no one likes her. Staff turnover was 92%. Led Zeppelin or Zed Leplin says, I remembers Rum Orga. She had a drinking problem. I don't really know what that says. She needs some milk, y'all. And morning AD, let's get it, says Sean S. Shout out to all of my friends and family. I appreciate y'all and everybody that's holding me down. Let me read some of these cash apps just to make sure that I ain't miss nothing. Christopher Donaldson says Kamala look like the lady, or look like the lady, or am I gonna get you? Oh no, I'm gonna get you, sucker. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to everybody that hold us down. But we gotta get to the next segment of the show. So Chris Cuomo had a mega donor on to discuss exactly what the sentiment is within the Kamala Harris campaign and to explain to you guys exactly what, where, who, what, when, where, why, and how all of the money went. All right. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We're going to spend 15 minutes on this one.
So, John, I never heard anything like this before. Do you think somebody stole the money?
Well, maybe legally. I mean, look, to me, you remember the movie Mad Max when everybody's just doing whatever they wanted into the world? That's what happened here. All of a sudden, everybody's got the keys to the candy store. Ad buyers, talent, consultants. There's 100 days to do it. And the money started pouring in. Remember this, Chris. It wasn't pouring in for Harris. It was pouring in against Trump.
And that's the key. And that is the thing that I've been screaming the entire time, is that the majority of the people that were voting for or donating to Kamala Harris's campaign was not donating because they believed in her. They donated because they didn't like Trump and they made an emotional decision. And this is why you lost. You lost because you made an emotional decision. 4 million new donators, on average over $57 per person. Mega donors, super PACs, and all of these people that were promised to continue to be a part of the military industrial complex and to capitalize off of your stupidity are the ones that donated to this campaign. But you didn't donate because you liked her. You donated because you hated him. And that's what makes you a fool.
Everybody that was voting and supporting Harris was really voting against Trump. And everybody that was voting for Trump was voting for Trump.
And let me also say this. You know how I know that that's true? They said that they had a $494 million advertising budget. $1.5 billion spent in 107 days. Think about this for 1 second. Think about this. You know how I know that it's true? Because every single video that I did was holding her accountable, and people were saying to me, Anton, you're putting out this video holding Kamala Harris accountable, and then I see an ad buy and an advertisement on your video that you're holding Kamala Harris accountable for. I see an advertisement on your video about you holding Kamala Harris accountable. It's insane. It's insane. You would not believe. I'm gonna reveal it just to my Patreon members. You would not believe the amount of money that they were spending on all fronts. It was absolutely crazy. It was absolutely insane. I got my cut. Not from the campaign itself, but from the YouTube advertisers. I certainly got my cut. Oh, yes, I did. Listen, Christmas coming early if Kamala Harris ever run for president of America in 2028 would be a blessing. It would be a blessing. The minute that Kamala Harris run for president in 2028, I'm going to give me a Rolls Royce. I'm going to give me a Rolls Royce. If Kamala Harris run for president in 2028, I'm going to go and get me a Rolls Royce. Y'all donated all of that money just so she can spend it recklessly. But he's going to explain it to you even more.
So she had all this money coming in. She had all these consultants. And if you don't run the ads, you don't get paid for the buy. They were running ads in Florida where I live nonstop. And I'm like, why? I mean, are they running them in Alabama and Idaho too? And I'll tell you why. If you don't run the ads, the buyer doesn't get paid. A $900,000 to put her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas. In the Sphere, the ego, the crazy, the commissions. I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this, who got paid that, and a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump. And I think this disqualifies her forever. Forever. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America.
A lot of people got rich on the let's take some stuff and let's sit on that for a second, all right? Let's take some stuff and let's sit on it for a second. A lot of people got rich, meaning advertisers, consultants, and so they don't get paid if there's no ad spend. So their goal was a similar goal to how they run the federal budget. And they say, listen, we have to spend this money before the end of the fiscal year or else we're going to lose it. Lose it to who? You have to spend the money or else you're going to lose it. So the goal, A, was for everybody to spend as much money as they could possibly spend. So you got one group of people that's focused on advertising and fundraising. You got another group of people that's focused on trying to spend the money so that they can all basically take you to the bank. And here's the caveat to it. They were spending money not because they believed in Kamala Harris, but because they wanted to stop Trump. They spent money not because they wanted Kamala Harris, but because they wanted to stop Trump. Well, I guess we'd have to start asking that question. Who exactly would want to stop Trump? Why were they trying to stop him in the first place? What are they trying to stop him from doing? Cutting off the spigot, reining in government spending? Think about it like this. Let's break it down from this lens, because I know that y'all need to understand, and the reason that this is the Millionaire Morning Show is because you need to understand how it comes back down to the money. Not just how they benefited, but also why would they try to stop them? Let's say, for example, I'm a huge government contractor. Hypothetically speaking, okay? I'm a huge government contractor and I make millions, if not billions of dollars from frivolous spending and making sure that Congress members lobby for this to be a part of the budget so we can keep our party going. Well, now you got Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk coming in and saying, well, you know what? We want to create this new department called Department of Government Efficiency because we got too much government spending. They want to continue to tax all of the people. We don't really know where our money is going. It's not playing out the way that it's supposed to go. And so we're going to cut you off from your $10 million a year contract because we're going to do a government audit that would then make sure that taxpayer dollars are being spent the way that it's supposed to and that we rein in the budget. And so if I'm rich, but I have this $10 million a year government contract, who you think I'm going to donate to in order to prevent them from getting into office? Let me say it again for the people in the back. If I'm rich and I have this $10 million a year government contract to where I probably keep 80 to 85% of it in my pocket, but then I got this other guy that's saying that he wants to come in and audit the federal government and every single government agency and every single department and pare it down and possibly save $2 trillion a year, you basically cutting me off from continuing to get rich. What? If I'm a part of the military industrial complex, why would I want this guy in the office? I don't want him in office. So I'm willing to spend. You say, well, why would people want to spend $1 million? Why would they create super PACs? Why would they support Kamala Harris? And she's saying she's going to tax the rich. Boy, don't you know that they're going to cut off the party? We want the music to keep going on. Why would we want the party? We got to make weapons of war. We got to make sure that we get these government contracts. We got to create new agencies. We got friends and family in there that we got to make sure we get paid. Why would I want them to cut off that contract? And so they then say, well, we're going to fund your campaign, but you got to make sure that we're in the federal budget. Brandon Johnson just a month ago signed a renewed $100 million contract for a ghost staffing company, LLC, while at the same time saying that the residents got to pay more in taxes. Now, why wouldn't that phantom staffing company want to continue to fund the Democrats to stay in office and you sitting here voting on identity politics and they funding the campaign to market to you so that they can keep you under duress and then take your parents home so that they can then re-gentrify it and give it to their children, while at the same time creating a new voter class? And we got people that will sit here and fight with us and say, you a sellout. No, you a sellout because you failed to inform yourself on who's doing what where. You're not involved in local politics. You don't understand what budgets are. You don't even understand exactly where all of the money is going. And so you sit there and you wonder, well, how can they raise so much money if everybody is saying that the Democrats is for the middle class and the underclass? Why are they raising so much money? How is mega donors giving money to them? Why would they do that? Oh, they just nice. They just nice. Mark Cuban just really, really wants to help her. Boy, you know how much money is going around in politics? It's the biggest play ever. It's the biggest game that you can get into. Forget business, forget creating a company, forget running up a bag and add value in a society, forget small businesses. You thinking too small. You thinking too small. And this is the reason why you have super mega donors doing this stuff, because ultimately it's going to protect, you got it, Jennifer, protect their interests. Why would I want my government contract to go away? And this guy talking about creating a Department of Government Efficiency, trying to save $2 trillion. You crazy. Wake up. Wake up. But I can't explain this because everybody they want to focus on, oh my God, reproductive rights. You think they selling you reproductive rights? Kamala Harris don't even have no children of her own. You think she's selling you reproductive rights? They're not selling you reproductive rights. They selling government contracts. And the mega donors is mad now because now Trump is in there creating the Department of Government Efficiency and talking about he want to put tariffs and save American jobs. They don't make no money off saving jobs. They make money off consulting on how you can build a plan in Mexico to ultimately bring in and get rid of the jobs. The money is to get rid of the jobs. The money ain't saving jobs. Saving the jobs helps the middle class. Building a job, getting rid of the jobs is where all of the money is. If I come in as a consultant and I tell you how to run your business more efficiently, and I say, hey, you can save more money by doing this, but you got to pay me this amount of money, and the difference is what you're going to save is going to be crazy. You'll pay me whatever it is that you want. As long as I can add value and add to your bottom line, you'll pay me what you want. So when you seen the Sean Fain of the UAW, president of UAW, ultimately angling for a position in the Harris-Biden administration by trying to convince the UAW members to vote for Kamala Harris, you're basically signing your own death warrant. Identity politics. Let me let them cook.
And that would be the argument just day one. So it was terrible. I think she did a good job in the debate. I think she did as good a job as she could hope for in a short period of time. I told everybody, she should not have been the nominee. She was not going to win. And she didn't win, and she lost badly. So she's got to go figure out her life. She's in Hawaii. Tim Walz was at the dinner. She was in Hawaii. So she's having a call with donors this week. They tell me about her political future. I don't think she has a political future.
He said he was just at the White House for a dinner. Tim Walz was there. She was still in Hawaii.
This week, she's got to go figure out her life. She's in Hawaii. Tim Walz was at the dinner. She was in Hawaii. So she's having a call with donors this week. They tell me about her political future. I don't think she has a political future. So that's my thought on her.
How bad is this for the party going forward?
It's terrible because when you don't trust, it's like Andrew Gillum down here in Florida. He lost by just a little bit. But the money was, to DeSantis, just a little bit. But the money was so squandered and kept that, and he was going to take all that money he kept and rebuild the party. The Republicans got 1 million more voters now. What happened in Florida is with Gillum is going to the same thing is going to follow Harris for the rest of her career. She cannot be trusted with the money. And the party and the donors are going to be like, where is this money going? Look, the week of the election, a former ambassador called me and said, I'm having a fundraiser, this like 2 days before the election. I said, how can you spend the money? Well, we need it for GOTV. I said, no. I stopped giving once Biden was.
2 days for the election, they were still fundraising and running up a bag. 2 days before the election, they stopped. They still fundraising and giving up a bag.
GOTV. I said, no. I stopped giving once Biden was out. As you know, Chris, I said, that's it. I'm a Biden guy. I wasn't Harris.
Do you think, how do you think Biden feels about the result?
I think he's obviously, he did not want to go. He did not go gently. I said this early on. He did not want to go gently. He nominated her basically. Obama did not want her. Obama did not endorse her for 5 days.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Obama did not want her. A mega donor is telling you Obama didn't even want her. So while he was over here telling us that we not voting for her because we misogynistic, he was guilty of the same thing. While Obama was sitting here trying to hold black men accountable and y'all listened to him with y'all ignorant butts, y'all was listening to Obama. He was guilty of the same thing. He didn't want her. He didn't even want her. The mega donor is telling you right now, Obama did not want her. He was one of the lone holdouts. Him, Pelosi, Biden, they all did not want her inside of the office. They had no confidence in her. They didn't believe in her. Everything that they were saying at that funeral that the lip readers was pulling up was absolutely true. He did not want her. Didn't want her. None of them. None of the big Democratic leaders that had been owning and running the establishment, they had no confidence in her, and they thought that she was an idiot, and they had been wrangling with her the whole time while they was in the White House. That's why she had a 92% turnover rate of her staff. And it wasn't because she was firing them, it was because they was leaving her. She knew nothing. And then y'all sit here and these lunch ladies on The View talk about how qualified she is. You just easily marketed to. They played their position, they played their role because that's what they had to do, not because that's what they wanted to do. They didn't have no confidence in her. And so you got to pray for discernment to be able to determine who's make the most decisions and who's not. They didn't even want her.
Pelosi did not want her. Pelosi told her California delegation, there'll be a conference, there'll be a caucus, there'll be a convention. We basically ran on this deal where democracy, and then we didn't have democracy in picking our nominee.
But why did Biden pick her?
I think it was to say F you.
Biden picked her as a big over to the establishment for telling them that he wouldn't win. Biden said, "Oh yeah? Oh yeah? All right. You got a lot to say. You want to talk junk? You want to push me out? Watch what I'm about to do. Go in." And then he nominates Kamala Harris for president of the United States of America just to spite the people that pushed him out. That's why he left immediately. Listen, it all makes sense. Time tells all. Biden got the heck up out of there the minute that he gave a speech, because they could not have him give a speech. It would be too obvious. He gave his speech on day one. Biden, the president of the United States of America, on day one, giving a speech at the Democratic National Convention when the convention he thought was supposed to be for him. And Biden said, listen, F y'all. So then he do his speech and he get out of there. He's never to be shown and appeared at the Democratic National Convention since. He was scheduled to be there the whole time it was supposed to be his convention. They made some thank you Joe signs and got him up out of there. He flew out the same night. He didn't even like her. He did it to spite her.
To Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and every representative that was pushing him out. And if he hadn't gotten out that Sunday, it was going to be an avalanche the next week. Look, Adam Schiff had already spoken. Zoe Lofgren had already spoken. It was just a matter of Monday. And I think he was pissed.
Hey, Biden, and I said it. Did I not say? Listen, I told y'all going to pay the piper. I said that y'all going to pay the piper. I predicted it. I said that this was happening. I said that this was happening behind the scenes, that he did not like her. Obama didn't want her. They did it to spite her. They wasn't rocking with her. And y'all said that I was crazy. Y'all said no. Eric D said, "Oh my God, Anton, you don't know what you're talking about." No, I knew what I was talking about the whole time. He announced her to throw the rest of them under the bus because they couldn't backtrack from it. She took the bait. She jumped into it. She took her whatever it is that it took her in order to continue to rock out with it. And they didn't even believe in her. And the interesting part about this whole thing is that y'all, the Democratic Party, was the ones that truly believed in it, and y'all donated to the campaign and y'all got finesse. And when Obama and Michelle Obama was making their speeches talking about if you ain't a man, you ain't a real man if you ain't voting for Kamala Harris, they didn't even believe what they were saying. Master manipulators and politicians. Unreal. Unreal. And that's why your grandma need to watch the Millionaire Morning Show. That's why your people need to tune in. That's why you need to stand on your principles as a man. That's why you need to go with your discernment. That's why you need to make sure that you follow your leading and seek God instead of listening to people on the internet that don't know what they're talking about. Because you are going to lead your people down a pathway of destruction if you continue to go down this path and be a part of this plantation that's not going to serve you. You need to open up your heart and open up your mind and send this to your friends and family, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tap into the Patreon, because we going to tell you the truth. We not going to tell you no lies. We going to tell you the truth. We not going to tell you no lies. I told y'all. Been saying this since day one. Unreal. Let me read some of these super chats. We're going to move on. Oh, this is the greatest morning show on earth. Brewster's Millions 2024. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Great job. Shout out. What up, Noel J? I thank you. And let me give a special round of applause to the 50 says, longtime listener, voted Republican after years of being blind, did my own research and was enlightened. Appreciate you and the Millionaire Crew signed future millionaire. Let me give you another round of applause. Smart man. Mr. Jackson says, I want to join your team. I'm working on getting my LLC. I can work the South for you. Veteran here, hardworking, quick learner. I'm invested in crypto. Shout out to Mr. Jackson. Send me a message. Duran Lee says, Kamala looks as drunk as that politician. She ain't cleared-eyed, got them beer goggles on. Wow, look at his profile picture. Mary Martin in the building. Shout out to Mary Martin. Ken J says, GOTV is Indian owned. Where is this money going, y'all? No, I think he's saying GOTV GEO. I don't know. I could be wrong. ABJ's wise, strong, and smooth says, just sent you some heat to react to, bro. All right, I'm gonna check it out. Young Haiti is in the building, says, questions, Anton. Putting your kid in private school, is it a tax deduction or what do you, and what is the benefit? I don't know. I haven't researched it. I can look into it if you want me to. I don't know. I don't know if that's a tax deduction or not. On a side note, I heard that the Hawaii trip that Scamala took cost taxpayers almost $1 million. I bet you it did cost almost $1 million. The mega donor is an injury lawyer for Morgan and Morgan. Okay, all right. She gonna cry when she get in the car. Facts. Where's Trigger and Ty when you need them? Oh, they soaking in their tears. Yo, Biden not slow after all. Buddy played chess. He knew what he was doing. He threw them under a bus. I lost respect for a lot of people who strolled to the poll, and I never got it back. I never found that respect back again. After the Citizens United case of 2010 that allowed unlimited funding brought more corruption. In addition, you remember when Chris Cuomo broke down the DNC high roller suites AD note coming back from losing $1 billion? I do remember, and he was at the Democratic National Convention and he was pointing to the sky. Rush King 19 says Kamala Harris is like a used car at a sketchy car lot. Underneath it's all busted, messed up. Up the car salesman paints it, makes it look good, and sell it to the people who are easy to fool. But you're getting a lemon. Good morning, sir. Have you noticed our Governor Whitmer, aka Big Gretch, has been very quiet? Yep. I wonder what her next move is. Sir, please bring security to that family dinner. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm going to be doing the Millionaire Morning Show, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I'll definitely be here. Let's continue on with the show. I'm so excited. So, got to give you guys an update on what happened with the Trump tariffs. So, with Trump tariffs, currently, Trump hasn't implemented a tariff, but he's basically said one of the things that he wants us to do is implement tariffs to slow the migrant crisis. So basically, I've been showing you and I've been covering the migrant crisis, and I've been letting you guys know that they have a migrant caravan and many more migrants that are basically using Mexico to get over to the American borders. Well, in addition to that, Mexico is also being used by China and other countries to flood the United States with products and then circumvent the tariffs that's meant to keep American jobs. Also, they're doing it the same way over in Canada, and Trump said no more. So on day one, we're going to start to implement these tariffs. I showed y'all the migrant caravans. And then also yesterday on the Anton Daniels channel, I showed y'all what the response was from Claudia Sheinbaum. And she was basically saying, as the first female Mexican president, that tariffs is not going to be good for anybody. But this is the about face pivot that they're starting to make, and we're going to get it on all sides. So what I want to do in this segment is I want to go international. I want to get the Mexican perspective currently, and then I want to keep y'all up to date on that. I want to get the Canadian perspective, and then I want to get an expert that jumped on Fox Business that basically spoke based off of what China's expectation is and what their sentiment is, and we're going to go from there. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. We definitely going to be live streaming tomorrow, same time, on Thanksgiving Day, so make sure you tune in. Don't think you get a day off. I don't. You don't either.
Trump promising to use tariffs as a way to force border reform and prevent drugs from flowing into America. He posted on Truth Social this, I'm quoting, "On January the 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming to the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. And with China, he will impose an additional 10% tariff on top of the tariffs he's already announced. It will continue until the fentanyl manufacturing in China stops and flowing it through Mexico stops." We've just received this from the president of Mexico. She says the migrant caravans are no longer arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border. Some impact already.
Interesting how the minute that Trump says, all right, you want to continue to let these people use you, you want to continue to let people walk in and let your police departments and all of that funnel people into the United States of America. You don't want to control your borders. You want to let people continue to take us and take advantage of us, and we continuing to fund your country, and we're the biggest trade partner that you have. All right, cool. So I tell you what, we're going to start implementing tariffs. We're going to start shutting down what's going on over there in Mexico, and we're going to have things put together. And one day she came through and said, what migrant caravan? What What migrant caravan? What you talking about, Willis? We don't know nothing about what you talking about. What migrant caravan?
Governor Mike Huckabee joins me now. Governor, do you think these tariffs are basically a negotiating tool?
Well, they're every bit of that, but they're a serious reflection of Donald Trump's big boy attitude. Listen, he is no oil can Harry who's going to show up with a little lubricating oil to just make the machinery of a bloated bureaucracy run smoother. He's coming to play and play big. And that's why people voted for him. It's why I love the guy. He just doesn't come in and say, what do y'all think I should do? He knows what he wants to do, and he's going to get it done. Keeping some promises about immigration and drugs, things that are killing this country. He's going to get it fixed, and he isn't going to wait until January the 20th to let people know. And we're already seeing the results. The announcement from the president of Mexico sort of says, yep, he's coming. We better get ready.
Immediate reaction there. Governor, a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah looks to be imminent.
So essentially, the very threat of a tariff has started to get people in line, and they're no longer going to just do what they want to do when they want to do it. Wow, gee golly. And so here's what they're saying on the Canadian side, because again, remember, when Trump was in office in 2016, 17, 18, and 19, one of the things that he was heavy on was not just illegal migration into the country, but renegotiating NAFTA, which he did do. He renegotiated the North America Free Trade Agreement. Well, Anton, what is the North America Free Trade Agreement? It is an alliance and an agreement amongst Mexico and Canada that allows for them to have less stringent trade amongst each other that would then benefit, hopefully it was supposed to benefit when it was put into place, all countries and create a rotating economy and commerce amongst all countries. When it was implemented, what it did was it gave the United States of America manufacturers lower cost ways to manufacture products, but then it created a trade deficit, and at the same time, it eliminated American jobs. So whereas you would have higher taxes and import taxes and so on, and tariffs and so on and so forth, if you're shipping a vehicle over from Europe, or you ship a vehicle over from Japan, or you ship a vehicle over from China, the North America Free Trade Agreement eased that because it was a partnership with our border countries, with Canada at the top and then Mexico at the bottom. But it became so disproportionate of how it was benefiting other places that Trump had to come in and say, hey, listen, y'all basically killing our job market, and this ain't fair. We got to renegotiate the North America Free Trade Agreement, which is exactly what he did. And it brought parity, but not enough, because he could not get Congress on board to enforce some of the immigration laws and the things that was happening to the United States of America. And y'all basically threw y'all lives under the bus, which factored into the fact that you then suffered during the Biden and Harris administration over the last 3.5 to 4 years. Well, Trump is definitely putting the pressure on not only Mexico, but also on Canada.
The U.S. is responsible for $1.2 trillion of our trade. We trade almost twice as much with the Americans as we trade with the rest of the world combined.
U.S. is responsible for $1.2 trillion of trade with Canada. They trade almost as much with the U.S. as they do with the rest of the world combined. You know what that means? That means that we have leverage. Because if I start putting pressure on you, you're not going to like it because you're taking advantage of our spending power.
Trade with the U.S. is 40% of our economy. President Trump yesterday made an
choose your words carefully, big dog.
Unjustified threat of a 25% tariff on our already weak and shrinking economy. Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland were surprised, amazingly. Everyone else knew something like this could be coming because President Trump had been talking about it for years on the campaign trail. Yet 20 days ago, Chrystia Freeland said, don't worry, Canada will be fine. Apparently, neither she nor Justin Trudeau were following what the incoming president was saying.
Apparently, they wasn't aware that he had won the election, or they hadn't been following that the American people was no longer going to rock with Kamala Harris. But apparently a lot of people didn't know that.
Our economy is teetering on the brink of collapse.
And you know what that means? That means additional leverage. If your economy over in Canada, because I know it's a lot of people that say, oh my God, Trump won the election. I want to move. I think I'm just going to move to Canada. Go on over there then, Clevis. Have at it. Shoot on over there. They said that their economy is teetering on the brink of collapse, while at the same time admitting that the United States of America is their biggest trade partner by a mile. Well, guess what that means? That's called leverage. That means either you're going to play ball and you're going to do what we need you to do, or you're going to get up out of there and we're going to absolutely put more pressure on your economy. It's going to be worse for your people, which then you as a legislator, that's going to get you up out of there because the people are going to be disappointed that you didn't fall in line. Trump is a businessman. He's not a politician.
And now we face this renewed threat.
So that is what's happening on the Canadian side. No need in prolonging this. Let's talk about what the Chinese are basically saying.
Welcome back. President-elect Trump nominating Jamieson Greer to be the next U.S. trade representative. Greer served as the former chief of staff to Bob Lighthizer, Trump's trade representative, during his first term. He was instrumental in imposing tariffs on China. Greer has advocated for strategic decoupling from China, saying the cost of doing nothing or underestimating the threat posed by China is far greater. Beijing, meanwhile, responding to Trump's threat of putting an additional 10% tariff on China for their role in the deadly fentanyl crisis. A spokesperson at the Chinese embassy in Washington writes this on X. China-U.S. economic and trade cooperation is mutually beneficial in nature. No one will win a trade war or a tariff war. Joining me now is Gatestone Institute senior fellow and author of Plan Red.
Don't tell me what's beneficial. Don't tell me what's beneficial for my people. You can't tell me what's beneficial. I know what's good for my people. You saying it from the lens of it's beneficial for your people, and that's because you don't want this war. You don't want this smoke. And so everybody is getting in line, and then we're going to get some additional context to that, and we're going to move over to the next part of the show.
Project to destroy America, Gordon Chang. Gordon, great to see you. Do you agree with that statement from China? No one wins?
I don't agree. Matter of fact, China, which is a trade surplus country, can't win a trade war with the United States. This year through September, China's merchandise trade surplus with the United States was $217.5 billion. That means we have 217.5 billion reasons why we will win a trade war. President Trump is absolutely determined to do so, and I'm sure that we will.
You can't have that large of a trade deficit and then said that it actually benefits the American people. I wish people really would take a civics class. I wish they understand international trade. I wish they would even just Google the very definition of a trade deficit and see that we are on the losing end, and we absolutely 100% are being taken advantage of by these other countries. And they largely seen Biden and Kamala Harris as a meal ticket, and they know that they got to do things differently when it comes to Trump.
Well, I mean, look, what about the thought that if, in fact, we see all of these tariffs, and by the way, I agree with you, but I want to push back here because I want to get in the thinking of some of the globalists out there who are afraid that tariffs are only going to lead to inflation and higher prices that Americans pay for goods. What do you think?
Well, in 2018, when Trump's first round of Section 301 tariffs, China picked up somewhere between 75 to 81% of the cost of those tariffs. People in China have done studies of the economic impact and found that in 2018, those tariffs had 5 times greater cost to China than to the United States, which confirms these estimates that we have seen. So, yeah, globalists can say what they want, but the facts are the facts. In 2018, there was virtually no inflationary impact. And by the way, Maria, China this month has been driving down the value of the renminbi, which is making Chinese products cheaper. China is already absorbing the cost of the anticipated tariffs.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think that's terrific analysis, Gordon. I want to get your take on what the Wall Street Journal is reporting, that China is now looking to Elon Musk as a channel into President-elect Trump. Musk, of course, has had a long history in Beijing.
Oh, a negotiating piece. Why? Because diplomacy works. When you have relationships with people, you start to broker world peace. You start to broker and have conversations about how this is going to benefit American taxpayers. You then have leverage over other people, and you can start to get parity. You can start to benefit the American people. And so I don't understand how these people in the United States of America, half of the country, well, less than half of the country, obviously, because Trump won the popular vote, how less than half of the country don't understand that this is a thing that benefits the United States of America and ultimately is going to benefit your children.
Tesla's $7 billion Shanghai plant being the electric car company's biggest factory, the company's first overseas plant. Musk has also had a relationship with Chinese Premier Li Qiang, who back in April called Musk, quote, a dear friend. The CEO of Chinese-owned TikTok, Shou Chu, has reached out to Musk to get counsel on the incoming Trump administration as well. Is this going to be China's way in to change policy through Musk?
Well, Chinese academics think so. They know that there is no replacement for Henry Kissinger, but they're now in China talking about the...
Do y'all know who Henry Kissinger is? I haven't seen this. Do y'all know who Henry Kissinger is? Henry Kissinger, he wrote the book Diplomacy. It's funny because one of my first major bosses that mentored me, that first we were having a difficult time getting along because I worked under him, and he told me that I needed to read the book Diplomacy, and it absolutely changed my perspective in my life on everything. Y'all need to go and read Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger actually died earlier this year, but he served under almost under every president, including Obama. And he is the person that truly crafted what really happens in the United States of America and abroad. Some people label him as one of the worst people to ever walk the face of the earth. But other people are saying that he had to make difficult decisions in order to make sure that we was good. So be careful learning more about Henry Kissinger. It could change your perspective.
3 Kissingers. One of them is Elon Musk. The other 2 are Tim Cook of Apple and Steve Schwarzman of Blackstone. I don't know if China's hopes are realistic, but we know that Tesla, that factory you showed, that factory in Shanghai accounts for more than half of the Teslas in the world, and that last year Tesla got 22.5% of its revenues from China. And by the way, Tesla's market share in China is slipping fast, especially in the third quarter of this year. And so what we're seeing right now is China does have extraordinary leverage over Elon Musk.
Yeah, they've got extraordinary leverage, but I don't know that President Trump is going to need any of these people giving him advice. He has shown us that he knows how to deal with Xi Jinping. From day one, when he had Xi Jinping over to Mar-a-Lago in his first term, he was the second global leader to come, and Trump basically schooled him.
Yes, he did. Over that dinner, when Trump stood up and said he had launched 59 missiles at Syria, which is a China friend, Xi Jinping was absolutely flummoxed. He was quiet, and he was relatively well-behaved for the 4 years of Trump's first term.
Yeah, that was really important, the message that Trump sent. But what about China's military deploying naval and air forces to follow and monitor a U.S. Navy patrol aircraft that flew through the Taiwan Strait? They will not allow a U.S. jet to fly over the Taiwan Strait without intimidation, Gordon. A spokesperson for the Chinese says that the U.S. is threatening peace and stability in the region just by being there, Gordon. Your reaction?
Yeah, China always does this, and the flight of the P-8 on Tuesday through the Taiwan Strait is another indication of China's use of its military to intimidate others, including the United States. But one of the good things, Maria, is that this month, China has been uncharacteristically quiet in its peripheral waters and airspace. And I think this is chalked up to President Trump's election. The Chinese don't want to take him on. And so clearly the Chinese right now are worried about Trump, and they're thinking about how to deal with him. But in the meantime, they've been quiet.
Yeah, it's a great.
So that is an update on what's happening with the tariff war and trade. And Trump is not even in office. We just got to make sure that Biden don't burn the whole place down before he gets in there. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we can move over to the next part of the show. Carolina's own DJ K Smooth says, so we're supposed to be like a guy who could barely speak and function cognitively was smart enough to sabotage the election by nominating Cam. Realistically, she has more of a chance than you. Alan Trent is feeling a little salty because we know that he voted for Kamala Harris. Don't worry about it, dog. You can keep following your woman to the polls. We cool with it. She better have tighten up down there or we will bring freedom down there. Gaming and Reaction says the party of acceptance and tolerance to you're not invited for Thanksgiving because you voted for Trump. Good morning, AD. I just wanted to add to the collection plate. God bless you, your family, and the bag chasers. Stay prayed up and have a happy Thanksgiving to you and you too, my friend, and everybody else that's going to be celebrating the holidays and Thanksgiving. Anton, you see them choking on their words already. Yep. Zed Lepland says Canadian dollar lost 1.5% of its value compared to the U.S. after Trump announced a 25% tariff. Canada is going to collapse and is going to collapse with that 25% tariff. Bushido Gaming says there goes the low price Temu items. We don't need that garbage over here anyway. Ask Canada how much they tariff our milk. Ask China why it's impossible to sell a car from outside of the country. Hint, tariffs. Yana says Henry Kissinger was to the right, what George Soros is to the left. No, Henry Kissinger was way, way, way worse, way different. Anyways, let's continue over into the show. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is mass deportations. Now, Tom Homan, and we already know that Governor Wiltshire, one of the best governors in the United States of America, Governor Wiltshire has been holding the line on illegal migration into this country for a long time now. Tom Homan is the recently appointed border czar, and it's funny because I heard Jasmine Crockett say that it was a made-up position. Cool. Then why did Biden give it to Kamala Harris in 2021? Neither here nor there. Tom Homan has said that they're not waiting. They're not waiting to start to hit the ground running and starting to get a lock on what's happening when it comes to this border crisis. And then the Denver mayor responded. Check it out.
Here with reaction, a man that President Trump appointed to fix the border, Tom Homan, along with someone who, frankly, has played a very big role in bringing attention to this security disaster, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. And they're going to be together all day tomorrow. Tom, you heard this mayor out there in Colorado. I want to get your reaction to it. And I want you to be clear about who has jurisdiction, the federal government or state and local governments. And if you're a sanctuary state or city, are you breaking the law?
You're absolutely breaking law. All you have to do is look at Arizona versus U.S. You'll see these breaking law. But look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute, it's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III, and what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives. And I find it shocking that any mayor of a city would say, President Trump's been clear. We want to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. I find it hard to believe that any mayor or governor would say they don't want public safety threats removed from their neighborhoods. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in Denver, but we're going to go and we're going to fix it. If he don't want to fix it, if he don't want to protect his communities, President Trump and ICE will.
You know what's so interesting about it? What we're not putting together, and so this is why I always want to connect the pieces with you guys. Mike Johnson was one of the sanctuary city mayors that signed that letter that basically was participating in the harboring of illegal migrants to the detriment of their residents inside of the United States of America. It was him. It was New York Mayor Eric Adams. He signed it. It was Brandon Johnson. That's 3. It was Karen Bass. And then at the time, it was the Houston mayor that signed it also. And so they're basically saying, listen, you harboring a fugitive and you're harboring people that's here illegally. And if you're harboring those people, especially if they're gang members, first of all, we don't understand why you would do so. And secondly, you have to understand that we will come for you, and we don't care what office that you hold. We are going to hold you accountable if you do not allow for us to do our jobs.
So you will be going into Colorado, Illinois, New York, California, and you are going to uphold the law of the land. That's your commitment. It doesn't matter what these elected politicians threaten or say that they're going to do.
We're going to enforce the law, period. And they're not going to stop us.
You know, Governor Abbott, I watched you with great frustration do everything imaginable in your power, come up with idea after idea after idea, because you were bearing the brunt of this from the very beginning. And you tried to put up barriers in the beginning, and then you tried to work the courts in the beginning. Then you started flying people out of your state to the sanctuary cities and states, and then all of a sudden, people like Mayor Eric Adams, to his credit, he finally got there, realized maybe this is not such a good idea, wide open borders, because we...
Let me show you the letter that was signed. I always like to substantiate my argument. This is the letter that was signed, and you can see all of the signatures on it. Brandon Johnson, Karen Bass, Los Angeles mayor, Mike Johnston, Denver mayor, Sylvester Turner, who was the mayor of Houston at the time before he got voted out, and Eric Adams, New York City mayor. These were some of the biggest major city mayors that were advocating for and signing a letter that spoke specifically to Biden. Okay? You can look at it right here. We believe we have a unique opportunity to work with the White House and the Congress over these next few weeks to create an immigration and asylum system that will treat our newcomers with dignity and be fair and equitable to cities and neighborhoods across the country. Given the urgency of this issue, we are willing to travel to DC next week to meet, to sit down and discuss our shared interests in finding successful resolution. Some of the proposed things that they were talking about new arrivals could access work authorization within 30 days. We're confident we could lead a coalition of cities. They wanted to be the leaders, the spearhead, and lead the coalition of cities that could identify shared available capacity, welcome newcomers in a way that would set them up for success and relieve the burden on border cities and destination cities receiving far greater numbers than can be supported. The federal government and nonprofit partners, not the governors of the states in which recent immigrations arrive, must coordinate the geographic movements of recent arrivals. The federal government has done this quite successfully with the Office of Refugee Settlement and has regularly coordinated with communities across the United States to receive recently arrived refugees. We encourage the administration to work with nonprofit partners to coordinate the location and geographic movement of recent arrivals at the southern border, to include the placement of regional coordinators in major cities to help ensure that recent immigrants arrive where sufficient capacity exists. They were the ones that signed the letter. So when you then see him oppose deportation of criminals and people that are here illegally committing crimes, Denver Mayor Mike Johnston getting in the way, he is one of the people that did so, and this is the letter and the signature of him that substantiates it. Okay? So I want y'all to know who y'all dealing with. When y'all talk about y'all mayors and y'all cities and these people, I never forgot. I've been paying attention to it. I've been following it for a long time. And so it's easy for me to be able to recall exactly what's been happening over these last 3.5 to 4 years. All right?
We can't control what's going on here. How frustrating has that been for you?
Well, listen, it's very frustrating when we have a country and a president and an administration that are fighting back against the law, inviting all this illegal immigration into our country, bringing those people in who are committing those rapes, those murders, and crushing families across the entire country. So I'm thankful that we finally have a president, President Trump, who's going to enforce the laws of the United States of America. I'm thankful that we have Tom Homan as the incoming border czar, who's going to help execute those laws and enforce those laws and make sure that we get back to restoring order. But also, I'm thankful, especially this time of the year, what Tom's going to help me out with tomorrow. I'm thankful for the National Guard troops who've been serving on our border for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, erecting the barriers, repelling and denying entry to people trying to enter the country illegally. Those are men and women who deserve the respect of the entire United States of America. And we're going to go feed them Thanksgiving dinner, Thanksgiving lunch, and show them the gratitude that they deserve.
Yeah. Meantime, let me give you an actual example or a conversation that was had with Mayor Mike Johnston on obviously competing network CNN, and what he had to say in response to the border czars threatening to jail him.
Tonight, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, threatens to put the Democratic mayor of Denver in jail. This comes after the mayor, who's my next guest, talked about resisting federal forces trying to carry out mass deportations, saying, quote, more than us having the Denver Police Department stationed at the county line to keep them out, you would have 50,000 Denverites there. It's like the Tiananmen Square moment with the rose and the gun. Homan firing back on Fox News.
Me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. We're going to enforce the law, period. And they're not going to stop us.
All right, joining me now, the Denver Mayor, Mike Johnston. So, Mayor Johnston, you heard what he said. You got something in common. You're willing to go to jail. He's willing to put you there. He says he's going to enforce the law. Are you willing to go to jail over this?
You know, I think there are thoughtful ways to solve this problem. If they want to focus on violent criminals, we would be happy to help support pursuing, arresting, and deporting them. We've helped past administrations. We'd do that again. If they want to focus on adding more judicial capacity so folks with asylum claims can have those cases heard more quickly, we would support that. What we're not going to do is support deploying the 101st Airborne into American cities to pull 10-year-old kids out of their classrooms in handcuffs. I think that is immoral, that's unconstitutional, and that's un-American. And so I think if that's what they're proposing, they will find us resisting. If they want to partner on common sense solutions, we'll always be happy to partner.
So if Trump were to order ICE agents, you know, for example, right, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, to go into the state of Colorado to enforce federal law, would you order, Mayor Johnston, your police department to resist them? Or are you speaking at this point more of just an act of, protest resistance? Or would this actually be an order to your police department?
Yeah, we won't use our law enforcement, and we don't think we need to. That's not what we're after. I think America's not after another conflict on this issue. They're after a way to find pragmatic solutions to this problem. And so,
stand down, big dog.
We don't think here that might makes right. We think that right makes might. And so if they are going to send the U.S. Army or the Navy SEALs into Denver to pursue folks to pull them off the job at hotels or restaurants where they're working or pull kids off the soccer field, I think we will see Denverites and folks around the country who will nonviolently resist that, because I think that doesn't represent our values and doesn't represent the Constitution.
Well, I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you clarified that, Mike Johnson, and that you're going to stand down, you're going to keep it G, and you're going to stay out the way, because that's probably what's best for your people, because the American people have spoken and they want to make sure that they get this done right, and they want to address this accordingly.
Has your view on the broader situation changed, though? And I understand you're trying to draw a distinction between violent criminals and people who are in the country illegally, but are contributing to society,
I like
right?
that you
Going to
stood
school,
down,
working jobs. But
Yeah.
is Denver, Mayor, going to remain a sanctuary city where you do not enforce federal immigration laws? Is there going to be any change to how you are running the city?
We're not changing how we run the city, but it's important that people know what that status means. You know, what that means is that if someone has committed a violent crime, has committed a felony, we do collaborate with federal law enforcement, and we will. What it means we don't.
But the problem is that you've already allowed for it to play out by harboring people that got over here illegally and protecting people that got over here illegally. See, that's the problem. Her question is, will you continue to do the thing that is against the law in the United States of America and allow for this to take place in your city and ultimately upend the residents in Denver? Listen, I know a lot of people that's living in Denver. I know a lot of people that rock out in Denver, and they don't like this. They said, Anton, downtown Denver is becoming crazy. I haven't been there, so I can't substantiate whether or not it's true or not. They said Anton, downtown Denver, and Denver itself has become insane. And it's become so insane that the people are suffering. And I was covering the migrant crisis when it was at its peak, and they had basically turned it into the Carter. They turned Denver into the Carter. That is a fact.
Do is if someone is driving to work and has a busted taillight on the way, we don't arrest them and connect them to ICE for deportation. We think that's disruptive for families and for residents. I was a high school principal before this, and these are my students. These are kids who
Oh, man. Okay, all right. So I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that. I just got some new information. This is the same thing that happened over in Chicago. Y'all got to stop electing. Y'all got to stop electing teachers. Honest to God, y'all have to stop electing teachers. Y'all elected Brandon Johnson, a third grade teacher, or whatever grade he was teaching into being the mayor of Chicago, of a major city. You elected a high school principal to being the mayor of Denver. And this is why y'all sanctuary cities. This is why everything is going down. All of these teachers and principals. Good God. That's the problem. That is the problem right there. I did not know that. Y'all elected a principal to tear y'all city down? Good God.
Dreamers who are playing by the rules, getting jobs, trying to make a life. They have daughters who play on their soccer teams or sons who sit in your history classes. We don't think that is the problem facing the country. These are 60% of them are working, 25% of them are children. I don't think that is the crisis the country's worried about.
So Trump is now threatening a 25% tariff on Mexico, which of course you've seen. He says he's going to do that until the invasion ends. That's the word he uses. And he says he's going to sign this tariff on his first day, so presumably by his executive order in January. Let me just play what Mexico's president said today, because she responded, and she said the tariffs are not going to do it when it comes to solving the migrant crisis. Here's how she put it.
Presidente Trump, no es con amenazas ni con aranceles como se va a atender el fenómeno migratorio ni el consumo de drogas en
It's
Estados
coming
Unidos.
through your state or on your country. It's coming through your country. The flow of drugs is not going out, it's coming in to the United States of America.
All right, I know, Mayor Johnston, you're fluent in Spanish, so even though you couldn't see those, the translation on the bottom of the screen, you understood what she said. Is it possible, though, that the threat of such tariffs, of a 25% tariff, of such a massive and seismic thing to Mexico, would force Mexico to way more forcefully address the drug and migrant flow than it has up till now?
I don't think that's going to solve the problem any more than no Denver business is asking me to pull folks off the job as a way to solve their economic crisis. We have open jobs we're trying to fill. We have more business we're trying to do, more imports and exports we want. That would hurt, I think, American farmers and ranchers, and it would hurt American retailers. And so I don't think that is the solution. I think there is a way to work collaboratively with Mexico and other countries in Central and South America to try to solve this problem. And that's what we're looking for. What are pragmatic ways to help people get to work that want to work, help employers hire them if they want to hire them, and help folks get a fair hearing in court and let the courts decide if they get asylum or not. That's all.
Nope, you're not going to come over to this country illegally and try to turn it legal. The American people have spoken, and we don't need a high school principal to tell us what to do anymore. We done with that. If Denver honestly, I think that these cities should be able to do what they want to do. I think these states should be able to do what they want to do. If you are blue, I believe you should be able to do what you want to do. You just can't have federal funding that go along with it. That's all I'm saying. You're not going to use my dollar to take care of your business and think that that's a collaborative way to make sure that the economy is thriving. That's not how it works. That's absolutely not how it works. That's why I pay for everything in my household. That's why I pay for everything in my relationship. That's why I pay for everything in my marriage, because at the end of the day, this is not a partnership. This is not a partnership. I am the husband and ultimately I am the final decision maker, but I'm going to give you responsibilities and the ability to make certain decisions under my covering. But if you don't want this, then you gotta go. But this is my dollar. You don't get federal funding to continue to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Let me go ahead and move on, and we're gonna get to the business side of things, the real business side of things shortly, because I want to get into DEI. Presidential says this is why the transition period should be much shorter, like November 20th. 3 months is a long time for the outgoing powers to do damage. Well, the expectation is to hopefully not have so much damage. Shout out to Paul Hines. Also, I appreciate you for the super chat. A.R. Smitty says, I got this more lemon pledge, por favor, for you. A.R. Smitty, thank you for holding me down. I appreciate you. All right, let's get into the last part of the show before I let you guys go. And I want to talk about Walmart. So Walmart has recently decided that they want to do away with the DEI, and they also want to talk about tariffs because that is something that is galvanizing the entire country. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Walmart is a great American company and the nation's largest retailer, more than 1.6 million American employees alone, and annual global revenue of nearly 600.
Lynette Jackson says, too bad for your wife. Too bad for your wife. too bad for your wife. My wife is living in a lap of luxury, and she loves what she got going on over here. Matter of fact, let me read a text message that I just got from her. Too bad for your wife. Good morning. Is the money available to get the check? Hey, I need another check for $14,877.64 so I can pay for this lumber for this new house, these new houses we building. $14,877.64. She says she need a check. You know what I said to her? Okay. Okay. We ain't worried about you. We ain't worried about. Matter of fact, I'm putting tariffs on people. Just like Trump, I'm putting a tariff on everybody. All of the dusties and all of the people that's bitter at the fact that they can't just call me and get a $14,000 check. I'm putting a tariff on them. I'm putting tariffs on all of y'all.
$150 billion. So I'm happy to say we're joined now for an exclusive interview with John Furner, the president and CEO of Walmart U.S. John, thank you very much for joining us. I want to get into holiday shopping. I want to get into grocery prices, but I got to ask you off the top to talk about this report I'm reading in today's Wall Street Journal about how Walmart is pulling back on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs under pressure from a conservative activist. So a few of the changes here: phasing out the term DEI, winding down the Center for Racial Equity, no longer giving priority treatment to suppliers based on race or gender diversity, and preventing sellers from listing some transgender-related or themed items on the website. So is that accurate from what you're hearing, and why the changes?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm in Houston, Texas, in our Friendswood location, so it's exciting to be in the store this time of year. First, let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey, and we continue to be on a journey. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years. Early 2023, we started talking about belonging. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
Is diversity among your suppliers still important to you at Walmart, John?
Well, starting with our company back in 1962, we were a small business, a single store that operated out of Rogers, Arkansas. And so we'll continue to do the things that we can do to ensure that small suppliers have a path to being successful, not only at Walmart, but in their business in total. You know, every year we really focus on made in the USA. About 2/3 of what we sell is either made, grown, or assembled right here in the United States. We have a program every summer called Open Call, where we welcome in small suppliers and we welcome in people that have an idea, that are an entrepreneur, and they want to learn. So we're going to continue to lean into ensuring that we provide the very best pathways for small businesses, our suppliers, to be successful here in the store. If I had more time, I could take you around the store and show you a few of those examples, but there are a lot of them, and there'll continue to be more.
Hey, why dog he ain't answer the question though? You know, I hate corporate speak. I think that people are getting to a point in their lives and in society where they just want people to just tell me like it is, bro. So y'all getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and y'all gonna make sure that y'all open up the aisles to just great small businesses, and you're not gonna discriminate. Because that's all diversity, equity, and inclusion is. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is an opportunity for people to discriminate based off of race. And say, I'm gonna give you preferential treatment. So it's the reverse of what people have been advocating for as far as what equal is. Equal isn't diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's not what equal is. Equal, especially in a capitalistic market, is that you put out the best business plan, you have the best products, you're the best supplier, and so you're the one that gets the benefit in this partnership with another person that has a distribution network that can help you. You make money, we sell more products, you benefit financially, we benefit financially. That's the goal. My goal is not to give you a leg up just because you black or you white or you Asian or you Hispanic or you Latino. No, my goal is to give you an opportunity if you have a great product to sell that the people would want. And so I hate corporate ease. Corporate ease speak. It's so stupid. It's all of this, yeah, I mean, and yes, and what is gonna happen. And we don't want to hear none of that no more. All we want to know is, are you a part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion? And you said your company is saying no, but you want to give corporate ease and just try to ease them into the conversation. No, I don't like that. I just keep it real. Nah, you know what? Nah, we decided to do away with and go with what the people are saying. We no longer want to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion because it could be discriminatory, and we understand that parity exists. And so, in a capitalistic market, our goal is to give the best product to the people and give the best product to our customers instead of focusing on race. That's what I'd have said. It is what the sales would have been booming. So sales would be booming. Oh man, you know what? They truly are trying not to be discriminatory.
All right, John, you mentioned that 2/3 of what you have is made in the U.S. Let's talk about that other third. President-elect Trump announced last night that on his first day in office, he will impose a 25% tariff on all products imported from Canada and Mexico. So how will that impact Walmart? What have y'all done to actually prepare for that? Have you guys been stockpiling in anticipation of these tariffs?
Well, first, I'll just say again, about 2/3 of what we sell is made, grown, or assembled here in the United States. And we've been very supportive, all the way back to our founder of products that are made in the United States. Just a couple of days ago, someone sent me a photo of Mr. Walton, actually my father, who worked at the company with the president of Lodge, one of our brands that's here in the store, in camping cookware. So we'll be ready to be we'll adjust to any environment. We've been in an environment with tariffs now for the last 7 years. And we have a team of people that are really experienced in managing changes in the environment. Now, our purpose is to try to keep prices low, to help people save money and enable them to live better. Now, certainly there'll be some occasions where you may see some impact on price, but we'll do everything we can between our suppliers, our supply chain, and do everything we can to help ensure that we're as efficient as possible to keep prices as low as we can. And that's exactly what we do each and every day, including right now in the holidays.
Are you worried about the tariffs, though?
Well, we want to do everything we can, as I mentioned, to keep prices.
This guy knows how to slip a jab. He is Floyd Mayweather with his words. I don't even want to hear from him no more. I just want to get the other side of it. So let me get this side of it. Kevin O'Leary had a conversation about what scaling back DEI initiatives is going to do to the consumer or to the company of Walmart. Let's take a look.
Waving goodbye to DEI,
Get straight to it.
Walmart plans to roll back its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives following backlash. The company saying in a statement to Fox Business, "We know we aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging, to open doors to opportunities for all our associates, customers, and suppliers, and to be a Walmart for everyone." Well, for more, let's bring in Kevin O'Leary, O'Leary Ventures chairman and Shark Tank investor. Okay, that's Walmart's statement. They're rolling back DEI. I guess my question is, when America's biggest employer does this mean that we are done with DEI and moving? I'm going to give you my acronym: results, excellence, and merit. REM. I'm a fan of the band. I'm a fan of the idea. What do you think about that?
Corporate America got lost, and then it took a huge lesson down from Anheuser-Busch on Bud Light.
Yep.
We
and
teach
Target.
that in business schools now. A complete combination of idiot management and the inability to read the room.
Yep.
And America's clearly decided on this issue. And for the boardroom not to be sensitive and understand what's going on out there, they get punished at the store level. Target's a great example. Wow, when they got into that whole gender identity stuff, they got slaughtered. And they still haven't come back. What mother wants to take their kids there and get into gender identity on underwear?
They never really said sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Is that saying that Walmart stock is up 74% this year? Yeah, that's about accurate because that's what we went over in Stock Club. We actually went over the margins of how Walmart makes money, so on and so forth. Make sure y'all jump into the Patreon. Link is in the description.
Market did it for them.
Sure.
It crushed them. And I think they should get the whacking stick out. If I were on that board, I'd find out who put that policy in place and a whacking and a hacking. You got to start punishing stupidity at the management level. That is how you solve for this.
I agree.
That's how we used to do it 20, 30 years ago.
So Walmart's getting out ahead of that and saying, we don't want that. Thank you very much. We're going to do the statement. We're going to get out of this, and we want to avoid the punishment, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, the customer is always right, always decides, and you have to read the customer. The mother, the father that brings their kids into that store to buy toys and is faced with all this, what crapola? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And they pay a horrible price for it, and I think it's great. And that Anheuser-Busch case, that's such a great case to teach managers in business.
No, I think that somebody said it in chat, inside of the chat. Chuck and also Nathan said Jaguar also. Jaguar is one of the best case studies to teach people how to absolutely kill a brand and absolutely destroy what you have going on. And I think that Walmart is smart. They're not going to say it out loud. They're going to put corporate ease into it. But the reality is that diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been a bad thing. It should have never been mandated on a college level. It should never be mandated inside of the corporate level. And I would never, under any circumstance. Okay, so then that means that I have to start firing some women and making sure that I hire some other women in order to make sure that we have a diverse work group. Because diversity, equity, and inclusion only is played out on companies that employ the majority of white people, right? I wonder if we should start implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion on businesses that say we black owned, or we only sell to black people, or we only have a majority of black employees. We should start finding them and say, hey, listen, unless you get a white girl in here, or you get an Asian woman in here, or you get a Hispanic in here, then we gonna charge you tariffs. Tariffs. Tariffs is the name. I'm about to change the name of this show to Tariffs. Because I'm trying to figure out, should diversity, equity, and inclusion also include people in places that only employ black people? Should black people, if diversity, equity, and inclusion only employ black people, if they're like, shouldn't diversity exist in that space too? Or am I off? Because I'm a C student. And because I'm a C student, it's very difficult for me to be able to grasp these concepts. So often at times, I do the reverse. And when I do the reverse, it don't make sense, because I can go into a place and I'll see all black people. And I'll be like, where the diversity up in this mug? Where is the diversity? So what you saying? You saying white people don't know how to make potato salad? Toy said it only applies to large white companies. Okay. All right, I got you. The Millionaire Tariff Show, that's what we changing this name into. We going to tariffs? No, and I'm not saying the name of the channel. I'm talking about the name of this particular episode. Tariffs. I want tariffs on everybody. We putting a tariff on people that don't meet diversity requirements on the flip side. How about that? I don't like it. I don't like discrimination. I don't like people hiring people based off of what they look like as far as things that they can't control. I don't like it.
Business schools, because they are a lot of them are thinking, oh, gee, it's the right thing to do. You look at the numbers. No beer company in history has been slaughtered that hard. Right from the beer cans being shot off.
We call it a teachable moment. But while you're here, I want to bring up the magic word of the day, the $1,000 word, tariffs.
Okay, so tariffs, another good word for it is negotiations. Everybody knows this is chapter 3 in Trump's book. I mean, everybody is freaking out on this thing. I keep saying,
have y'all not read Trump's book? Nah, don't worry about it.
Go read his book. I mean, this stuff, he's getting out there now. Everybody's awake. He woke him up at 2 a.m. with one post. Every world leader's going, what? So there'll be no tariffs on Canada. That's very hard to implement. But the challenge with the Canadian situation is different than the Mexican. Trudeau is a really unpopular leader, and in the parliamentary system, he'll be getting whacked soon. It's the end game in the parliamentary system is so brutal. Look what happened in England just recently. It's about to happen to him. So Trump will not be negotiating with Trudeau. He'll be dealing with a guy named Pierre Poilievre who will get majority mandate. I think Trump should invite him down to Mar-a-Lago now. I don't know what the protocol and all that is, but he'll be dealing with Pierre. He might as well.
Who's much more ideologically aligned with Trump.
Well, here's what Poilievre has already said. I'm going to lift the ban on pipelines. I'm going to kill the carbon tax to be competitive with Texas. And I'm going to open all kinds of investment in Canada. That's Trump's kind of guy. So I know he talked to Trudeau last night, but Trudeau is checking out of Dodge very soon.
Okay.
I want to talk about other investments. Medicaid.
All right, so that's what we all got into. Anyways, let me read some of these super chats and then I'm going to get y'all out of here for the day. Remember, we are live streaming tomorrow. We got Wednesday night off because we don't usually have anything popping off on Wednesday night. But we are live streaming tomorrow. Make sure you get your tickets for December 14th, all right? Let me read some of these super chats. So I'm going to get y'all gone. Hey, Anton, just curious, do you still own the suburban home that you used to stream out of in a dining room? I own everything. I've never, ever sold a property. Ever. I've never sold a property. I've always held on to, and it's a reason for that, because if you are a part of Block Club or you looked at any of my real estate videos, I got a different real estate strategy than everybody else. I've never sold anything. Never, ever. Never sold a home. I don't think you really understand DEI. Oh, yeah? What don't I understand about it? I understand that it's discriminatory. And I know that y'all like to run in the Black Victim Olympics because y'all like to be a part of the boule. But nope, if you don't meet the expectations and the requirements, you don't get hired. You're either good or you're not. I know my Walmart stock is booming. Keep it rolling. Executive Suite Emily is in the building. Says DI has always been smoke and mirrors. Has only benefited women and alphabets. Black men never benefited from this. You're a soy boy if you fight for this. I don't need no DEI. I just want to compete on my own level. Guess who purchased some stock last night? Shout out to Nightjade. DEI literally forces parity and the best to thrive. It does not. Anton is the tariff king. Yep, I'm putting tariffs on all of y'all. Y'all gonna be having tariffs in Pelican Bay. Looking into small business suppliers is also DEI. Nope, disagree with you 100%. Understand the difference between woke and DEI. No, DEI is bad, and we want to do away with it and everything that got to do with it. Tear it down, destroy it, burn it, and don't ever bring it back. Just met Kevin O'Leary and T.O. the other day. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, K Dizzle. Listen, we're no longer doing DEI. We're not advocating for it. We're not rocking with it. We don't want it. Get rid of it. May the best man or woman win. If you're the best for the job, then that's exactly what you'll get. Otherwise, get up out of my company. DEI as Marxism, says Kimmy Joe. Shout out to Kimmy Joe. Again, listen, make sure, as a matter of fact, well, we'll get there. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like on your way out the door. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've been here more than once. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.